Hey, it's Russ and Lauren. We are always doing some sort of positive music discussion on this channel. And I feel like if you would have had this discussion with Lauren even a year ago, her answer would have been some version of no thank you,
Right?
regarding this particular artist. And we know that there are many people out there who either never got this guy, didn't like this guy, don't like this whole genre, this whole genre. But me personally, I heard my first rap record in 1982, and ever since then, just grew through the whole cycle of everything that came rap wise. And being from Detroit, Eminem was a thing that there are plenty of Detroit artists who I will claim politely. I will say, oh, yeah, well, yep, you're right. They're from Detroit. Eminem was the one that I claim proudly, along with Jack White and a few others. So I got to a point over the past year or so where I had been playing Eminem music for Lauren, and her initial response overall was a hearty no thank you. But over time, there have been points where she's like, oh, let that play, or oh, play that one again, or whatever. And so there's been a shift. And I love that she wanted to do this video today. So it is not how I learned to love or become an enormous fan of, but how you learned to like Eminem, which I feel is better than tolerate or,
Yeah.
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 So walk us through some things that made you go, okay, there's more here than I thought before.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot to get over, right? Because, Eminem was popular when I was, in high school and stuff, and I had friends who would play Eminem at parties and things, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand. And truth be told, I never really sat down and listened attentively. It was just like, no.
Without speaking to your personal experience, this is true of other artists for me, and I don't want to say anything derogatory about those artists, but I have other artists where their fans ruin it for me.
I get that.
And I could see that being a thing with Eminem.
Yeah, and so I was just like, okay, and then Eminem just sort of existed. There was some things that I always like, oh, that's amusing, like the funny videos and things.
Yeah. The big
early
singles.
I was like, okay, I get that. But it took you playing Eminem in the car, and it wasn't something that happened intentionally. It was something that just sort of happened.
Now, I have played a lot of hit singles, but I've also played what I feel would be deeper cuts. Is it presumptuous of me? And these are very off the cuff discussions, by the way. I don't know what anything Lauren has in her notes for this. Is it presumptuous of me to say that I maybe played the right Eminem?
You did play the right Eminem.
For you?
I think because the first song that made me go, huh, was Till I Collapse.
Till I Collapse from the Eminem Show.
Right. And so then in kind of looking through this, I would argue that I'm probably an Eminem Show person. That album has most of the stuff that I go,
so
oh,
good.
I like that.
It's so good.
And and so then to kind of stick with that, the first one that really made me go, was White America.
Oh, the album,
And
opener.
That I really, really listened to. And I think it was hearing the very self-aware and salient points that he's made in that track made me go, this guy understands where he is in the broader picture.
Which at that time is saying so much for an artist. I mean, we're talking about, this is a time when, and a lot of times in these videos, I come off as grandpas from a different time, but this is back when your debut week, you'd move 1.5 million, 1.7, nowadays here in the year of our Lord, 2024, moving 60,000 units is huge. Mm-hmm. This is back when your record would move 1.5 million, 2 million units in the first week. Literally every man, woman, and child is buying your record. Mm-hmm. And this cat could have been like, I'm the biggest thing ever, and go F yourself. Mm-hmm. And opening your third record with that track is like, here's everything that I am seeing. And here's also a lot of things you don't understand as a listener.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very much putting a mirror back on the people saying what they were saying
Yeah.
about him. And, then kind of thinking back through it, another thing that like I was obviously clearly aware of at the time was the performance of Stan with Elton John.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
Right.
Marshall Mathers LP.
Yes. And so I was aware of that song and I kind of knew what it was all about and stuff. But then I guess kind of sitting on it and having an artist that I've always loved and admired basically give his stamp of approval to this guy
Cut
and
through.
this song and cut through so much in order to do it. I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing.
There's so much more to early Eminem. And I say that being very familiar with all the rhyme schemes on those first 3 albums. There's so much more to it than I'm going to say the bad F word or say this about ending people or people of the opposite sex or whatever, or people of the LGBT community. And I can say that now, 20 years later. I can look at it and go, okay, all things being equal, there's still brilliance here. Elton John said that then, which is
huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's kind of shifting forward to the next kind of nebulous point that I want to make is that I majored in English in college, right? So I read a lot of poetry. I wrote a lot of poetry. None of it was great, but I understand kind of a lot of the technicalities that go into putting rhyme structure together. So complex what Eminem is doing, and like the internal rhyming and like the way everything kind of goes and is laid out. It's like there is no way my brain could ever think on that level, let alone appreciate that hearing it at first pass. I'm still very much have I see what he did there moments every time I hear something, even if it's something that I've heard a bunch of times
there's
before.
that, I won't get the song right off the top of my head, but there's that one line where he says, I pay these strings the same things to say the same things twice, whatever. I hate these things. Like, and you're just like, the fact that he was like, yeah, I know that doesn't rhyme, but it works here. And I'm going to, and it makes the point of how frustrating what he does is. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. It's so cool.
When I was a kid, I hated that line. When I was like, oh, it's so cheap. And then years later, that even grew on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. And I think the last point I want to make is probably the first thing that I grabbed onto, because I mentioned, Till I Collapse being the first thing that I got. And truthfully, Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg's hooks were the door for me to really start appreciating what Eminem is doing. Okay. And so, Nate Dogg, thank you.
Yeah. Nate Dogg is, of course, a legend in the game as far as, Regulate and Bitch Please 2 and this and the original Bitch Please. And there's so many hooks that the cat had on things, but he's representative of a lot of things. Like there's so many different women through the years who have sang hooks on rap songs, and so many cool samples and whatnot that have caused like the it's like, come for this hook, stay for the rest of the brilliance, right? And Till I Collapse is that song.
Yeah.
Where even if all you do for the rest of the day is till the room comes off, till the lights go out, till the like, once you take a minor listen to the rest of what's happening in that song, you're like, it turns out this kid knows how to turn a phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be clear, before anybody gets all excited and goes and posts this on any sort of social media and goes, I'm going to cancel these people because they like a guy who said these things. Art is art. I feel like we don't turn around now and go, well, because we feel like the Mona Lisa should be smiling, we're going to make her smile. You know what I mean? Like art is art. This art was made at a certain time and a place from a person who was in a certain mindset. My challenge to you is, before you do that with an artist, try to understand like where they were coming from at the time, and like for you, like the people who would have talked to you about Eminem back in the day were probably bad people. They were probably bad people then, and maybe they're better people now, but they were probably bad people then because they heard the wrong parts of what Eminem was having to say. And I feel like nowadays, if more people would listen to what was said and understand where the person was coming from, we would be a lot further. So if we always highly encourage interaction on the channel, we want people to leave comments for us. I'd just be totally honest. And 2 points I'll make on that. One, if you leave us a negative comment and it's clear you don't know what you're talking about, number one, thanks for the interaction because it'll help the algorithm. And two, I'll just delete your comment. So don't do that. But like if you would like to have an engaging, intelligent discussion, like someone like Lauren, who has never even considered herself an Eminem fan, but has found things to where she is able to speak about it and enjoy art that she never would have before, by all means, drop a comment on the video. We would love to hear from you. Maybe there's even things in later era Eminem, because I've mostly focused on like the early stuff that I played for Lauren. Maybe there's something later that you think that I should play for her. I've played Headlights and stuff though. But anyways, let us know if you're in any sort of rap forum, or even if people go, wow, that white lady just found Eminem, like post it around, help people out. Drop a like on the video because that helps us out. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.